What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How's it going? We're live, and with me is Will. So I'm gonna let him talk and speak his mind. Anything on your mind, Will? Anything? Anything at all? Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and let you talk here. Hopefully, you have some fun. Because right now, I'm on my own right now. The reason why I'm just going to keep this as an open house for everybody. If anyone wants to come in, they can tweet me at Hero for Nuts. That's right, Hero for Nuts. If you were watching the show. Right now, I am doing this for fun because I know that a lot of people want to come in and talk about the issues and talk about the problems that they have in Gamergate and also the other side. I'm doing this live stream, broadcasting live. As you might as well know, I'm on my own. So it looks like I'm going to go ahead and let people know what's going on. So go ahead and if anybody wants to come in and chat or have something on their mind, they can jump in. So I don't know what to say about this because it seems like most people don't want to say anything at all. So let's go ahead and have some fun, do some stuff. Hopefully it would be fun because right now I'm just thinking of what to say here. I'm not a popular guy, so let's go ahead and begin the show and see how people will react to it. What's going on? Let's see here. I don't know what's going on. It seems like some people are not talking about it.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Kitty Cat, what are you doing? Hey, what's going on?
How's it going?
Not much. I see someone. Oh, God damn it.
Yeah. What's on your mind?
All right. So I've been seeing a little bit of drama crop up in Gamergate in regards to personalities, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just wondering, what's going on, because apparently that chick, the person who ran off our Japanese friend, who was supposedly
Margaret Gale.
Yeah,
we call her Margaret Gale. Yeah. I can tell you that issue because of the fact that Margaret tried to make jokes about it. Yeah, it's true. But go ahead and continue.
Right. I'm just wondering why, this is a main issue. Why are we dealing with personalities when we have more important shit to worry about?
That's true. Yeah. I agree with you on that because here's the problem. There are some people within Gamergate that do have issues and do have personal grudges with e-celebs and such. It's kind of, it does happen. It does tend to be that way.
Oh, I understand that person, completely. Me, I would love to have a knockdown, drag out debate or get in the ring with David Draymond from Disturbed, because I personally despise the man because of his blatant hypocrisy when it comes to freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and all that good jazz. But considering that we have a much bigger problem, because the issues that Gamergate raised, everyone wants to say it's just games journalism. But if you sit down and look at it, it's journalism in general that is outright fucked.
Yeah, they've been publishing a lot of oddball articles, like people getting hurt feelings over something, and also threats claiming that these threats came from Gamergate, which they can't prove.
I got one even worse than that. The whole West Virginia shooting. I mean, have you seen all of the articles that came from that?
Yeah. I only remember some of the video takes from it.
I mean, you have people outright starting off saying, "Oh, it's a disgruntled employee." Oh no, he hated white people. Oh no, wait, he was a Gamergate supporter.
He's gay.
Yeah, I mean, what in the Sam hell is going on?
You know what's so funny is that why would a black man that's gay become a Gamergate supporter? And of course, I noticed this funny conversation that was brought up around the time of that whole situation. I was like looking at it, going like, wait, the guy's saying "Hail Hitler."
I didn't even know that was actually a thing.
Yeah, the funny thing was it turns out to be a fake troll.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the whole problem with, the press that kind of legitimizes Gamergate. Certainly are we dealing with the blatant nepotism in games journalism, which essentially puts indie devs like me in a fucking corner and thrown under the bus because we don't know anybody in the scene, so to speak. And because of that, we can't get no publicity, and we can't actually make this an actual viable, an actual sustainable career. Not just for the money, obviously. I mean, the money's nice, but I just want to be able to pay my bills and have some fun.
Hi, by the way.
How's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
This is Norwegian guy.
Hi, man.
Hey, how's it going, Norwegian guy?
So yeah, I was listening in. Are you a developer, man?
Yes, I am a independent developer. My name is Bill Raymer. I am the head of Team Salmon. We are working on Broken Minds, a survival horror title. Blah de blah de blah. I'm not here to chill. I'm here to talk about issues.
That's fine.
Yeah, I was just curious, man. That's all. Broken Minds. I'll take a. Is it on Greenlight or on Steam or anything like that?
Actually, no. We're still in development. Actually, the thing is, we took a look at what we had on our Blogspot or actually Blogger or Google or our Google site. That's Blogspot, I think.
Oh, blogger.com? Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to use that.
Yeah, we still use that, and that's kind of a double-edged sword. Yeah, it's a good way of putting our stuff out, but nobody actually uses it or visits it. So it's a way of saying we have something on record. Unfortunately, I'm one of those douchebags that, hey, people might actually visit this. No one does.
Okay. But I can understand the issues behind indie devs not getting that much of a promotion or people not, looking into your game or anything like that. That kind of tends to be the problem with the gaming industry is that they want something with eye candy.
Well, I mean, it's not even eye candy at this point. I mean, look at literally who. Her whole thing was I've made a text adventure game about quote unquote about depression, busting out finger quotes here, when there's absolutely no eye candy, no actual research done into how chronic depression works.
Yeah.
We're talking about Lord Voldemort's wife. Okay.
Yes, the son of a war profiteer. But we're the bad guys. It's cool. I can play a heel.
Anyway, the interesting thing is that when I hear you, I mean, you probably know this a hell of a lot better than I do, but when I've spoken to several and had a funny conversation with Homicide on Do Not Be One of Those guys. These guys, if you're familiar with these guys, they basically made a shit product and got pissed off when people pointed that out. And and they started deleting comments and all kinds of shit. So, oh man, it was a mess.
Oh, I mean, that's
They're the
actually
one.
bad form. I mean,
They're the
it's
one.
hurt
They're the one.
feces at the end of the day.
They're the ones who got even more bad publicity by going on to Jim Sterling's show,
Oh.
and yeah, they're the ones who started the whole Jim fucking Sterling's son, and he turned that into a catchphrase, and yeah, it wasn't good. What they essentially did was they took the Unity engine and they used the assets that already followed with it. So you had it was supposed to be a zombie shooter game that they made, and here's the thing. You had a zombie shooter game set in an American city with post boxes that said London on them. They were that lazy, And
yeah, I mean, that's just shit right there. I mean, come on, I mean, it's lazy.
I'm following a couple of indie developers right now. I'm following the guys in the UK who is making that survival horror game called Allison Road, which a lot of people say is the replacement for PT and Silent Hills, which people think I think it looks absolutely amazing, and I'm really curious about it because it looks like the game that we wanted from Konami and Silent Hills, but it looks like their version of it.
I wouldn't go that far because nobody knows what PT would have ultimately turned into other than Del Toro and Kojima, along with the members of that staff. But I've seen Allison Road's thing, and I'm interested.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious. I mean, like you said, nobody's going to know what Silent Hills eventually was going to be, and that is a damn shame in all regards. But I am still curious about Allison Road and a lot of other things.
I wouldn't go that far because Kojima himself is notorious for throwing out red herrings, clues, and all that. So, considering the fact that him and Del Toro, prior to Del Toro saying he's never going to do video games again, it was, news broke that those two were actually going to continue working on something, in a sense.
Yeah.
We might actually see what PT would have been.
I will say this though. I know that Kojima's contract with Konami expires in December. And after December and during the months after, I'm going to be really curious to see in the start of 2016 if he gets picked up by another studio or Sony or whoever, decides to pick him up and say, hey, dude, you want to come work for us? I mean, they're going to be hunting this guy down.
I wouldn't go that far. I think what might actually happen on that note is Kojima and Del Toro might work on something either for a bigger studio like EA, as you said, or completely indie.
Yeah, but
they will have the money to do it either way.
Yeah, that's. I mean, you look at Shenmue, a game that is a pretty niche title. I like Shenmue 1 and 2 a lot, but it's a very niche title, and it's a lot of us older gamers who remember that. And it broke the fucking records when they put out the Kickstarter with a little help from Sony, but still they broke the fucking records. And I don't doubt that they will manage to do it indie. I'm saying that I will feel a lot more comfortable with a good studio behind the project. God forbid EA. So.
Well, I mean, the thing is, EA gets shit on for all the wrong reasons. I mean, yeah, they're shit. So they treat their customers like shit, and they.
Is it gone?
I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
No, I was going to say that I'm one of those people who is severely skeptical of Battle. It will be a epic disappointment, and not for the reasons you might imagine. But it was like I feel like EA has done so much crap. They're trying to push the boundaries on what is acceptable, and sometimes they get away with it. Other times the gamers basically put their foot down and say, hey, this bullshit has to stop. And I hope Battlefront is a good game. I hope there's not going to be way too much DLC shilling, even though they started doing that already.
They're giving us. Can I say one thing? They're giving us a map And the reason why they're keeping the map is because it's a location episode 7. So
Yeah, it's kind of like a cross marketing thing with the movie, which is understandable. I mean, they wanna cash in on the movie hype, which is perfectly understandable from a marketing perspective, and I don't blame them for that at all. But I'm worried that there's going to be like there's going to have the same Battlefield model for this game. You're going to have those premium bullshit things. You're going to have these packs and crap you got to open up. And then a couple of months after the game has been released, they're going to do the same thing they did with Battlefield, and that is like, hey, you can buy all the guns now. You can unlock all the weapons if you want to. And yeah, skeptical.
What's up with the shh thing? Like your Darth Vader.
We've incorporated where you can get a tasteful waifu for only $420.
I thought you had it. I thought you bought your amiibos.
Yeah, he spent his money on amiibos, all right, because he sure as hell did not spend any money on this fucking microphone.
you know what I'm getting, Norwegian guy? I am gonna get. I'm game flying it because I don't want to spend money right away on it because I'm skeptical on it. But I am getting Metal Gear Solid 5.
Well, my collector's now.
What?
Yep, my collector's edition's in the mail. I'm getting it tomorrow.
Good. Good.
Yay.
Oh my god, you're so lucky. Meanwhile, I got a chart.
Well, if you give me $120, I'll buy one for you. The retailer still has 16 more in stock.
Yeah, but then
But
what, like $50 shipping?
probably more. I don't know,
yeah, shipping.
I mean, like when I imported Lucina, that cost like what, $15 just for shipping?
No, it's going to be a hell of a lot more than that because it depends on how fast you want it. I guess I did do by
shipping
Express.
off of Amazon. To be fair, Amazon and Walmart still have the Xbox One, and like all my friends have Xbox, so I'll just probably get it for that, which sucks. I wanted to get it for PS4, but when MGO comes out, I'll play with them.
By the way, you sound like you're in a control tower at an airport, like one of those air traffic controllers. What the hell is up with your microphone?
It's a phone.
Yeah, it still sounds like you're working out of JFK or something. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, it does.
You're paid for landing.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, anyways,
kids, we're going in dry.
So, what's this stream gonna be about, JT? Figured I should ask.
It's basically just random stuff. What's on their mind? They want to speak about.
Well,
Oh, look, it's a Charizard.
I'm gonna start studying journalism in a couple of days. That's gonna be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So you decided to become. I thought you wanted to become a musician.
I am a musician. I've been one for 8 years, and I music theory, but it's not something you can easily make a living out of. So I need to get a proper job, which is reporting on bullshit. So I'm gonna do that instead.
Go for it.
So I'm gonna basically start becoming a journalist, reporting on absolute nonsense, and somebody pays me $2,500 a month for it.
Do it.
I'm happy.
Just do it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But considering the student loans that I'm gonna be paying off after I'm done with this shit, I'm gonna need that money. So.
Yeah.
How many degrees do you have, Norwegian guy?
I have 3.
College? Really?
Yep. I have a degree in C# programming, which turned out to be one of the most useless things I could ever have gotten. It was 3 years of my life completely wasted. I have a degree in music, and I have the this is going to make you laugh. I actually have the pre-exam course certificate for becoming a pilot. I don't know what I was thinking when I took that, but anyways. Wasted my life trying out different stuff, and now that I decided to get a real job, I'm not even sure how this is going to go, but fuck it, journalism. I worked with it. I have experience in working as one, but I don't have it on paper that I am one. So
I have
that's what I need.
experience bullshitting about journalism too, so that would work.
Yeah, pretty much. But keep in mind, they recently wrote an article here in Norway about journalists that are getting hired, and they were
Oh shit, he got cut off or something.
Yeah, connection issues.
worried that there weren't
Lately-
enough. And I'm not making this up.
Okay,
What was-
Norwegian guy, you're cutting in and out.
Let them speak.
Enough diversity. So we're gonna start hiring other people than white middle class. And I was like, do I? So
So
I'm happy.
since you're not white, middle class, or a woman, is it going to be hard for you to try to get into journalism? I'm just joking, man.
Well, I know people, so it's not going to be that hard. But I would have gotten a job if I had a degree. But because they're very stingy on who. And I've been talking to friends of mine in the UK as well. So if I get a job in the UK, I'll move there. If I get a job in the US, I'll probably move there. I don't give a damn where it is because I'm just ready to get the fuck out of my town right now. So.
I know that
Go
feeling.
for it. You don't need. Is your town really that bad?
It's a shitty small town up north in Norway, which has no job opportunities whatsoever. I work for the local paper, and I shit you not, this was one of the headlines. The wind broke a tree. That was one of the headlines.
What? Not even my crap. Not even the Mineral Independent in my hometown does stupid thing. It does
Nothing.
lame ass things like
You know,
that.
it's so boring here. You actually are hoping for a terrorist attack sometimes, but it's like.
Akbar.
It's like, I'm willing to go to these guys who run the pizza shop. Hey guys, why can't you just make some threats or something? I'm bored. But they
Why
won't
can't you
because
just do something to piss off ISIS? I'm just kidding.
yeah, but if I said that, they would have been pissed off at me because they're not Muslims. They're Kurds and they fucking hate ISIS.
Oh,
So.
oh, you don't want to do that then. Kurds, I've met a few Kurds. You don't ever mention.
and these guys
Sunnis
are fucking awesome. And these guys are fucking awesome and make one hell of a pizza. So I'm not gonna fuck around with these guys.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my little rant, and what I'm gonna be really busy starting this week actually.
All
So I'm gonna be doing a lot of courses and shit. Oh hey John, hey John.
All right, hold on. Let me. John, what's on your mind?
Bunch of stuff. Thinking like recently I've written an article on Toll Biscuit,
Mm-hmm.
so there's that.
Oh, you're pissed off at him?
Initially, I was like, I did get mad that he would make such statements. Like, if you've listened to the SoundCloud, you'll know what I'm talking about.
That one? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's hard for me to stay pissed off at a certain. It depends on context, really.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
What happened?
Toll Biscuit went, in my assessment, full SJW, like the full 9 yards. He recently made a SoundCloud in which he said you're either for trans advocacy rights or you're against me. And if you are against me, you are not part of my audience. And I don't want you radicals in my audience. Shoo shoo. Basically, he's telling his audience what to do and limiting what people can and cannot say on his platforms arbitrarily based on opinion.
Yeah, but here's the thing that bothered me about this is that who would do it? Who would do it?
Do what?
Who would actually have the guts to say that shit about a trans person on the freaking show? That's the issue.
Well, that's the weird thing about this. The things that Tobis complained about weren't even all that controversial. Some of the criticisms he highlighted included Laura K, that would be the transsexual's name, her advocacy of social justice. People criticized her on that, like basically saying, "Oh, this seems like some of those social justice types." And the SoundCloud Toll Biscuit said, "Well, wouldn't you want some justice if you had to deal with what she had to deal with?" But the thing is, even if you agree with Toll Biscuit on this one that transsexuality is something that we need to advocate for, or you're done, that has nothing to do with trans issues at all. Nothing.
Okay.
Like they try to co-opt them, but it's just nothing related to it. The other thing he specifically highlighted as an example was the sound of her voice, right? That's not something you cannot control. That is something worthy of criticism. And I mean, like, you're either, yeah. I mean, it's completely ridiculous. No, I'm not joking. You're laughing, but
I was like, I watched that show, and I didn't really have a problem with the chick's voice.
yeah.
I was just like, you know what? Let her on the show. She probably has some interesting things to say. I don't really care.
Right. Like, I'm not saying that Laura Kane needs to be banned from the show or anything like that. My problem is when Total Biscuit makes such a political declaration in the same vein.
Try to explain something to you, John.
Go for
Total Biscuit has always been that socialist type of person, which he's always been that way. I've known him for years to be in that way, and you know what? If you have a problem with it, don't watch his content. That's my opinion of it.
Well, I've known
Total Biscuit like that for years.
But here's the thing: the reason why like this gets me is because Total Biscuit is right on so many points, and when he fucks up like this, it really does rub me the wrong way. Especially since
that's fair enough.
Yeah, it's like you have a consumer advocate not acting as a consumer advocate. It's a complete contradiction, and not criticizing him will just mean that he'll just spread this and propagate this message, which.
Yeah, tell him he's wrong and he fucked up. That's basically how you say it.
Yep, and that's what I did.
Okay.
Well, to be fair, I don't think he's going to change his impression videos. I don't think he's going to start advocating for this during his WTF videos. No. And to be fair, and the gaming and gaming in general, I think he's been pretty consistent on his views on that. And yeah, I will agree with you, John. Actually, that it sounds really. People give you that.
Yeah, like the way I view Total Biscuit right now is the same way I view John Oliver. When it comes to more of like, you know, hey, this is what, when he actually speaks on behalf of the consumers and stuff like that, and leaves the progressive stuff out of it, he's on point. But once he gets into social politics or of anything that nature, he really drops the ball big time, and not in a good way.
I will agree. No, I would just want to say this. I agree with that because he's hilarious and he's really on point with a lot of his issues. But at the same time, when he goes into this thing that has to do with women politics, social politics, he just goes full on SJW, and that has bothered me more than once.
Yeah. It's kind of like some people that I criticize don't go all so far line, but this case it is accurate to say Total Biscuit is a social justice warrior, and it's not something I throw around lightly because I don't like unclear like labels and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, here's the thing about social justice in general. I'm not against it. I'm just against the people who propagate this shit.
People who say social justice. Let me cut here for a second. People that say social justice, they're the biggest hypocrites on planet Earth. What they mean by social justice is to basically, how do I put this tightly?
Actually, I can sum this. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I can actually sum this up quite nicely. These people who advocate "quote unquote" social justice, they want to talk about gender politics in video games, problematic tropes in films from the 1980s, Bob Chipman, and they would rather talk about why this comic book is triggering while completely ignoring the constant militarization of our police force here in the States, the fact that our politicians here in the States are essentially bought and paid for by either major corporations or special interests, the fact that our news outlets will not cover a actual incident of possible police brutality, case in point, the Tamir Rice shooting, for more than 5 seconds, yet the second they have something ambiguous like the Mike Brown or Trayvon Martin situation, they'll run that for months and give you two different stories on what happened. The fact that they don't want to touch the fact that more. I'm sorry, I got into a rant.
I just want to. I got to go to if I may, I want to speak a little bit since I live in Europe. I live in Norway, and I live in a pretty far left socialist country where there is a lot of where progressiveness sort of flows through the entire governmental system, if you will. Imagine if you had a party that was incredibly far to the left running the U.S. and have all these social policies and whatnot. I mean, we're not as bad as Sweden because Sweden is turning into a clusterfuck because they are on collision course with its citizens right now. So there's a lot of shit going on there. But my point is that the whole social politics thing has become really huge, especially in Scandinavia and in the United Kingdom. And one of the interesting things, if you look at Sweden right now, the country that everybody likes to make fun of, being the highly leftist, crazy place that it has gotten a reputation for being, it's interesting to see what happens now in Sweden. Right now, people in Sweden, and I'm talking about Swedes, mainly Swedes, are so fed up with the progressive social justice leftist people that they are voting for a political party that none of them would have considered a few years ago. They're voting for the far right. And as of this moment, the far right, the Swedish Democrats, which is the far right party, are now Sweden's biggest political party. There are no moderates anymore in Sweden. It's the extreme left versus the extreme right.
And here's the problem with that. That's extremely dangerous.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to say this. The reason why this has happened is precisely because whenever somebody, I mean, I'm half Hispanic and I'm half Norwegian. I've been hearing racist jokes all my life about me and about other people, but it's like the funny thing is that the left in Sweden and in my country as well have actually tried to silence the debate on immigration. And, silence the moderate debate on immigration. And if you haven't noticed, we have a huge crisis in Europe when it comes to immigrations and refugees fleeing across the continent right now. And nobody has any idea how to handle it. And Germany says, oh, you can come to us. And then the German people says, well, where the hell are you going to place all these people? And they don't have a plan for it. They just let them in, and without any plan of integrating him into society or whatsoever. And the same shit is happening in Sweden. The same thing has been happening in Norway, in all of these countries. And people are seeing a social change because nobody has dared to ask questions about the immigration issue because they will be branded racist if they do. And here's what happened. Because of them, basically, because of the left silencing the debate on immigration, the far right has taken over the debate, and instead of having the moderate voices. And that is dangerous, and it's really dangerous allowing the far right. In Hungary, they just set up internment camps for refugees. They look like something out of the fucking Nazi camp shit. That is what they're doing, and they have a far right government.
Sources on that? That sounds terrible.
Yeah, well, it's all of the fucking news, man.
Actually,
let me tell you something
closer to home for those.
It's
one at a time.
Sorry.
Okay. All right, Leon, go ahead.
It's actually in your news. I haven't seen anything like that yet, so you might want to post links.
Yeah, like extremism can be dangerous. It depends on context, though, because the other danger to watch out for is the golden means fallacy, where you believe that, oh, well, this guy has a point, this guy's a point, so we have to meet somewhere in the middle. That can also be a problem itself. But I don't know enough about Sweden politics to actually make a judgment call, because sometimes when you advocate for far right, you end up with Nazism, and that's, yeah.
Well, I just want to finish this up. The Swedish Democrats, let's just say that 10 years ago, these people were walking around in brown shirts with their own version of the swastika logo on their arms and beating up anybody who wasn't white. So just to let you know where these people are coming from. They've put on suits and have become a little nicer in their appearance, but they're still the same old pricks.
Ooh.
So yeah, I'm a little worried, and I will not be going to Sweden anytime soon. I'm staying the fuck out of that country. I was invited to Stockholm. I was like, fuck no. I'm staying right here.
I don't blame you, man. I don't blame me at all.
Yeah, Sweden is fucked.
Dude, we have Trump as a plausible Republican candidate at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
America
but that's going to be 4 years of comedy gold. Come on.
Oh yes. You know what? We had 8 years of Bush comedy, from President Bush. So you know what?
I
Donald Trump.
actually miss the old bastard.
No, I don't.
After 8 years
because
of Obama, I do miss Bush.
I don't miss Bush because here's the thing. I'm from what is considered the working poor. I grew up in a shitty apartment in a shitty part of town in a godforsaken commonwealth by the name of Kentucky, where there's absolutely fuck all going for it. Our school system is shit. Our police, for the most part, are corrupt as these motherfuckers put the L.A. police department to shame at times. We've put Mitch McConnell in office for 30 fucking years.
Damn.
Because this motherfucker knows how to raise money and grease, have the right palms greased.
Yeah.
We have the cornbread mafia, the Dixieland mafia, and the cartel operating within the state. I mean, I live in a godforsaken commonwealth that is the picture definition of corruption. So no, I don't miss Bush, and I don't think too much of Obama either, because to me, it's just the same shit, different guy.
Arguably.
Literally.
You make some points.
Yeah, I don't know if it's very hard to say which is worse, to be perfectly honest, because you'd have to assess their entire candidacy, and it's not exactly easy to do at this point. But
here's the thing.
All I have to say before I leave now, it's going to be one hell of an interesting campaign, and seeing the nominations, because let's face it, Hillary's not going to win. She's not going to win. And
She just counted social justice words. Even CNN said
no.
She's.
I mean, she has.
Hillary's a fascist.
Yeah, here's the problem with her. Nobody likes her, and I believe the latest poll that I saw was that 57% found her untrustworthy. Yeah, that's the kind of numbers you want right before the nomination starts.
Yeah, there's a very good chance, in fact, that Hillary won't even get the nomination. It might be someone else that we don't know.
Bernie Sanders, and he will not win either.
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends on who the Republicans run. If the Republicans are smart, they'll run Rand.
Or Jack.
The fear I have is that
I have a feeling
Trump's
they'll
not
go
gonna-
for these nuts.
Now here's the problem that I see with Republicans face right now, and it's the Trump card. See, the thing about Trump is that right now everyone likes Trump, but the thing is, Trump's not going to win for the simple reason of it's going to be pointed out eventually. They're going to get smart, and they're going to point out, well, this guy's running as a businessman, and he's a failed businessman over and over again.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they tried that, and they tried pointing that out in the last debate, but they didn't get anywhere with it. And the reason is that his popularity actually increased after that debate. But the problem here is that I've spoken to a few Republicans that I know, and as far as I understand it, the Republican leadership is absolutely terrified of this guy.
You are 100% correct. They are scared of him, and they are just... It's like after Bush left, they had no leader, and they've had no leader for a long time now. They've been just clinging on to whatever they can. It's caused a lot of infighting in the Republican Party. Like the Tea Party, instead of like capitalizing on that, they decided to just like, well, this is too controversial. We can't go in this direction. They decided to start a pointless campaign against them. Not to say the Tea Party is in the right, because they've made mistakes too. I mean, look at Miss I'm Not a Witch as an example of someone who's a failed.
Oh, God. Christine O'Donnell. Fuck.
Christine O'Donnell had a perfect opportunity to capitalize on that, and she blew it by saying, I am not a witch. All she had to do was just say, yeah, I practiced Wiccan stuff in college. So what? It's my religious freedom. I can change my mind. It's my American constitutional right. Boom. She would have gotten numbers like that. But nope.
Yeah.
That's what happened with Rand when he ran here in Kentucky. Jack Conway, his only platform was, this guy's an asshole. This guy was an aqua Buddhist in college. Oh, and by the way, I support cap and trade here in Kentucky, which is a coal state.
But can I ask you something? Can I ask you all something? Because I've been following American politics for many years, and I wanted to ask you, out of all the people the Republicans have at the moment, what would you consider to be the best possible candidate that they could put forward? Somebody who's actually electable?
Paul.
Rand Paul, I would have to say Rand Paul right now, he's the only one that I've seen, one of the only ones I've seen that would actually reach across to make a deal. He's the only one with the brain.
Well, yeah, I mean, the biggest problem that I've seen over the last few years in American politics is the fact that you have a Congress who refuses to work with the Democratic administration or the Obama White House, and they've stalled a lot of shit, and so has the White House doing, and it's been this deadlock for the past, I don't know, hell, 8 years soon, and and I think people just want to see some bipartisanship and a little more cooperation, and that I think is the biggest thing they need to fix. They need to show the government is actually able to work together. And
Well, here's the problem with that. Our Congress, our Senate, and even our Supreme Court are essentially bought and paid for by the corporate interests at this point.
yeah, they're all Republicans mostly, aren't they? Now, yeah, they're
all Republicans. But
Actually,
even
there's quite a few
the
liberal
Democrats.
leaners there's quite a few liberal leaning in the Supreme Court. So I wouldn't say all of them are Republicans.
It's
Considering
not
the
just a
fact
Republican
that
thing. Both
considering
Democrats.
the fact that Citizens United was a thing,
oh god,
is still a thing.
Oh, that pissed off my state. Pissed it off enough where my state put reelected John Tester, who's not a bad Democratic senator, by the way, actually sided with the Republicans over the last.
the hilarious thing about that is actually that considering all the money that Mitt Romney and his campaign people spent during the last presidential election, it was a lot of money just going to basically. You could have actually gotten a hell of a lot more out of it just by flushing it down the toilet. Because, oh man.
Well, the reason
Well, I mean,
question.
the
The three
thing
candidates.
with Mitt Romney was, he. There
Because-
was so much shit with the GOP nomination that year that was just so shady.
I'm sorry, Mitt Romney, out of all people, he wasn't even liked by conservatives, especially not the religious right, because they hated him because he was a Mormon. So forget the support of the evangelicals. And here's the thing. The Republican Party is dependent on the religious right, and the Democratic Party is dependent on the teachers' union. If any candidate doesn't have support of either one, then they're not gonna do well.
I disagree. I genuinely disagree on that one because once again, when you look at one of the quote-unquote big heavy hitters of the Democratic Party, Hillary Clinton, who, mark my words, will get the nomination for the sake of the narrative. Because here's how the things are going to go down. I'm calling it now. Jeb's going to get the Republican nomination because there's so many, God-fearing Christian Americans that swear that George W. wasn't a bad president. And then you have the left going with Hillary Clinton. What's going to happen is this. The left-leaning members of the press, a.k.a. all of Comcast news outlets, are going to swear up and down that Hillary is the second coming of Christ. You have News Corp, who has one news channel, which is Fox News, swearing that Hillary Clinton is an out-and-out, they won't say out-and-out fascist, but untrustworthy, incompetent. They'll bring up Benghazi again and again and again. Never mind the fact
but she's already considered to be untrustworthy by 57%. Even liberals don't like her. Yep. And here's the thing. I said this before. I just want to say this. Here's the thing. The biggest problem. I agree with you. I think Jeb Bush will become the Republican nominee, and the reason I also think he's going to win. And let me tell you why. Because when you put Hillary Clinton together with Jeb Bush, the liberals are going to see two candidates with connections to Wall Street. And here's the thing: Jeb Bush will get votes from the right, anyways. But Hillary may lose liberal votes. They're not going to vote for Jeb Bush, and if they don't vote for her, they're not going to vote at all. So her problem is not that people vote for Jeb Bush. Her problem is that people does not vote at all, and Jeb does not have to worry about that.
Once again, here's the problem here, though. It all depends on who can raise the most money to get the most votes. There's still a lot of people. Considering the fact that Hillary can get some dosh, real.
Well, she is under investigation for accepting foreign money, so it's going to be for accepting money from foreign donors, and that's going to be a huge issue in the campaign. Trust me, the Republicans are just gearing up for this because she is currently under FBI investigation. Yeah.
Dude, she took money from Donald Trump, one of the current candidates of the Republican Party.
Yeah, but he's not. Yeah, but he's not a foreign donor. That
He's not a foreign donor, yes, but this is true. But I guarantee you, the Republicans, if they run Jeb, are going to use that to their advantage. And of course,
but the one thing they can use, because it's illegal to accept money from foreign donors, she has accepted money through the Clinton Foundation and funneled it into her campaign. That is the allegation. And if that turns out to be true, then she's finished.
Yeah.
She would have to drop out because you can't run while being charged.
Yeah, right. And that is going to come back and bite her in the ass. And trust me, every single person who understands economics and the Republicans are going to hire the best damn people they can find to go through those records, because she has to disclose it. She has to disclose her record when she's running. And that is going to be a huge problem for her if that turns out to be true. If they even find 1 cent that has come from foreign donors, then she's there's so much crap, and that means it's going to be a disaster for the Democratic Party, and no doubt, because nobody wants to see Sanders in office, and except
there is one way the Democrats can win this election, though, and that is the aforementioned Trump card. Because the thing about Trump isn't that he's an electable guy. He's not. He's big.
He'll split the vote.
Right. Well, that's the thing. If he runs independent, the Republicans are tanked. So they have to nuke his credibility. They have to either nuke him or make it more advantageous for him personally to not run. Those are the only 2 options the Republicans have. Or a third option, which is going to be the most hilarious, but might be best for the Republican Party if chips are down, is to draft Trump. And if they do that, you'll have a very interesting election year, and quite possibly the most interesting presidency we have ever had in American history.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see what happens. And I when it comes down to it, if Trump wins the nomination for the Republican Party, if he wins the nomination, it will be a new Mitt Romney situation. You could run the lead singer for Slayer for the Democratic Party, and he would win against Trump. It was like,
Slayer versus Trump. Whoever wins, America deserves it.
Actually, at this point, I'm either going to vote for Gary Johnson, or I am going to write in Teddy Roosevelt's rotten corpse to run. That's where I'm at this point with my option.
I'm gonna vote for Trump's cat.
I'm gonna vote for Trump's hair.
The cat's name is Meowberg von Fluffstein. That's the cat I'm gonna nominate.
Hey, I'm telling you, man, if we can just find a way to reanimate Teddy Roosevelt's corpse, we might be able to salvage this country.
I got it. There's a guy, he's related to John F. Kennedy. He looks exactly like him. All he has to do is to change his name to John F. Kennedy. His name is Tim Shriver. The guy looks exactly like Kennedy. It's a fucking carbon copy of the guy. All he has to do is to change his name into John Fitzgerald Kennedy.
Well, to be fair, he might actually be one of John Kennedy's fucking kids. Because, Kennedy is...
Wait a minute. Wait, Will, are you telling me that Kennedy was unfaithful to his wife?
Yeah.
Once or twice.
He had this blonde that he had fun with. He had fun with this one blonde. I don't think you've ever heard of her. Her name is Marilyn Monroe.
It wasn't just Marilyn Monroe.
But yeah, seriously though, when you get down to the chips, we have with the Republican Party, you've got the main talking head, the main people that are being talked about are Ben Carson, Trump, and Jeb. You have guys like Rand Paul who are being told to shut down STFU. You have guys like Ted Cruz who are unapologetic, blatant shills, which kind of goes back to my whole point of the main issues that SJWs refuse to outright talk about.
Well, as a Hispanic man, I can safely say that Ted Cruz is the scariest Hispanic to come out of Texas since Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men. So,
well, considering the fact that Ted Cruz is actually Canadian,
Yeah, but he looks like he's incredibly creepy, and I don't know.
This guy took money from Comcast to talk shit about net neutrality.
Yes.
Twice. Yeah.
He took money. Like, I, that is the definition of a you ever heard the term conservative? It's kind of like the
Yes,
SJWs.
yes, I heard that thanks to my Twitter feed, and I do follow Milo. I'm not gonna lie. I don't agree with him on a good chunk of things, but there are a few things I do agree with him on.
Well,
Go ahead.
I just want to say there's an election coming up here in Norway in 2 weeks, and Jesus, it's gonna be it's good. It looks like the left is gonna take all the power back.
That doesn't sound too good.
It's gonna be 4 more years of let's apologize for everything. Let's be socially politically correct. These goddamn lunatics are running, and in my town, a feminist is running for mayor. I gotta get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah.
You poor bastard.
Yeah,
I don't want Norway to go. The thing is, though, I don't want Norway to go to shit. I mean, like, I used to think Norway was just as liberal as Sweden, but then you told me that no, actually they're not. I'm like, oh, okay, that's good. But if they're gonna go swing back to the other directions, it's like, oh man.
Yeah, because people are pissed off at the conservatives. They've been in power for 4 years now, and people are pissed off at them because they're like the conservatives in the UK. They care about the rich and only the rich, and it has become a problem. The unemployments are going up like crazy, and people are kind of pissed off.
Yeah, that's the problem with the right. They have all these values that are really good to subscribe to, but simultaneously they don't live up to those values.
Well, I was actually asked to find some dirt on this politician, the feminist who's going to run here, and I was like, I'm sorry, man, I got nothing. I've been going through articles. She is as clean as you can possibly make her. I have never seen anybody.
Mayor. She'll be clean until.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a watchdog. So thank God I'm getting back in for the next 2 weeks. I'm gonna be in a little political mood and trying to get things a little out of hand. But we have several candidates. I like none of them, and they're all scumbags basically. And I'm saying this about people in my own party. They are all scumbags, and I hate these motherfuckers.
I can understand.
One is on the other side, we have feminists, social justice warriors, and people who are so far left they should consider taking a few steps to the right. And then you have, in my party, we have bankers, people who own big business. Oh God, it's a crazy train, and I'm just trying to hold on, really.
Yeah, that's what the big problem is for being for being a conservative or quote unquote right leaning, whatever that means. The people that are advocating your ideals are sellouts.
Yeah, and I like none of these people. And the problem is that conservative in Norway means the same as conservative in the UK. We are a center-right party, which basically means we're more democratic. We're more. We have more in common with the Democrats in the US than we have with the Republicans, because it's crazy to think that Democrats.
You don't have religion involved, that's why.
Very little, no. God doesn't get discussed much.
Exactly.
That's a good thing, because, in a secular nation...
But we do have a party. We do have a party called the Christian Folk Party, and they have the lowest support of every political party in this country.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You shouldn't, in a secular nation, that is a nation that runs without, that doesn't have a religious influence or a major religious influence, as in, one that doesn't have religion ingrained in the constitution of the country or something like that, or, for lack of a better term, a theocracy, although that's a very narrow and specific category of what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Religion is not relevant, and yet politicians in the U.S. will use religion as a voting talking point all the time, and it works, and that's why they keep using it. And it's disgusting. It should not have any. Should not.
It's
one thing to talk
emotional
about.
appeal.
You can.
Yeah.
Basically, it's the same with. Oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead, man.
Okay, it's the same with the left, you know. It's emotional appeal mainly that strive people to vote right or left.
Okay, Norwegian guy, I could tell you one place I'm sure you're glad you don't live in, Russia.
Well, I have friends of mine who live there right now, and one guy that I know, he's Norwegian. He went there to work, and he's doing pretty okay actually. You know what he said to me? You know what? Russia is not so bad unless you get into politics. Stay the hell out of politics, and you will do fine. Lots of pretty women, and the alcohol is cheap. So he's actually not doing so bad. And I saw the girls that he was partying with. Fuck, I'm considering Moscow at this point.
You know what? I've always wanted to go and visit Moscow, but ever since the rising tension between the U.S. and Russia, I'm like, no way in hell. I do not want to go there.
I'm 1 hour's flight away. I'm 1 hour's flight away from St. Petersburg.
You don't know how lucky you are. You live right. You have like a very cheap train ticket. You could afford train tickets really cheaply in Europe.
I can't go by train to Russia. I'll have to take a plane. So it's but it's gonna be, you know, it's like Amsterdam is 1 hour and 50 minutes on a plane from the closest big town that I live in. They fly direct, so I can fly from the city of Trondheim and be in Amsterdam within 1 hour and 45 minutes if the weather's good. So yeah, I'm pretty close to most of it. And once I'm in Amsterdam, I can take trains to wherever: Paris, London, Brussels, wherever. So it's kind of good.
Man.
So it's kind of good that way, and it's the European Union, so we can travel without showing passports and stuff like that. But I will being that I have kind of dark skin, they will probably ask me for an ID anyways, to make sure that I'm not some Syrian refugee trying to enter the country illegally. That has happened quite a few times.
Oh man.
Especially when I don't shave and I have a beard a lot. So yeah, but it's interesting. It's been a lot of crazy refugee crises have really set a lot of heightened tensions amongst different countries. France are now arguing about the refugees, and Hungary is basically putting up barbed wire border, and so yeah, it's getting pretty tense. And Russia, they're staying the hell out of it. They're like, nobody wants to go to Russia. They're the only country no refugee want to go to.
I mean, look at what who the Russians were supporting during the Syrian civil war.
Yeah, they're supporting Assad.
Yes.
They're not wrong, though. That's the thing. That's a scary thing about that. Like, at the beginning of the war, it looked like Assad was a big bad guy down there, and that, like, the refugees had a point.
The only thing that he did bad was he gassed his own people, which is really bad.
That was no. Don't get it wrong. The thing is, Assad isn't a good guy at all. We were right to say he was a bad guy.
No.
But the thing is, he's the lesser of two evils. That's what's so fucked up about Syria. It's that your alternative to being overrun by fascist, murderous cunts, i.e., ISIL or ISIS, whatever you want to call them, is a dictator.
Yeah, but keep in mind, ISIL is the organization that basically made Iran call the U.S. and say, "Hey, we need to talk."
Yeah.
So that's crazy when you think about it. I just wonder how that conversation actually took place. Like one poor Iranian diplomat has to call back. Can we get this? Oh, man.
You want to know a really weird roundabout way that ISIS actually connects with Gamergate?
They used a block bot?
The A-Team trolled the shit out of them, and they even talked with one of the guys who claims that he was taking photos of people chopping their heads off, and basically they were able to find this guy's not only did A-Team force them to set their account to private, but also later on, that guy got killed. Like, the U.S. found him and struck him down.
Go Gamergate.
Yeah. That is a really weird connection, but it's absolutely true. It's just like the most hilarious thing. It's like,
What, the fact that he got...
ISIS is like Korea. It's a very, very dark
Oh
and morbid
god,
situation.
we have to make a meme about this now. Gamergate. It's about ethics in journalism and hunting down terrorists.
Yeah, they actually. The funny thing was, I actually got blocked by an ISIS account that's probably a troll account.
It might not be a troll account. That's the thing.
It's probably
loves-
It's
See, that's the thing about ISIS. It's that they are very proficient at social
Networking. Yeah.
yes, social networking.
And the
business,
funny thing,
and it's
and the funny thing is that they also don't like us because of one particular person who has connections to Vice.
Oh god.
Yeah, Vice. You know the documentary that they did for ISIS.
Mm-hmm. Well, guys, I gotta get the fuck up because I'm getting up a little early.
All right,
In the
take
hair,
care,
so I gotta go. John, it was actually nice to talk to you for a change, and
it was nice talking to you again too.
Yep. So talk to all of you guys later. So have a good night, people.
All right, take care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you? Oh yeah, John. Did you hear about the Trine 3 developers?
I've been out of the loop for gaming news. I've been mainly I've been focusing more on Gamergate shenanigans and tangentially related issues.
Oh, hey guys, here's some news about gaming related news about Minecraft's creator Notch. He says, "I never felt more isolated," says a billionaire. I'm so alone.
Are you kidding me? That's funny.
Marcus Notch Pearson's actually here. It's a GameSpot article. Don't judge me. I keep saying that every time I put a GameSpot because I've always taken shit for looking at that website. But it says in here, it says Minecraft's Marcus Notch Pearson's open up about emotional state about why he's so alone.
Being a billionaire.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
The guy bought the most expensive house in Los Angeles. And
To be fair, it's got to be a lot of pressure, You got to have a sub-vulture on your ass when you're a billionaire.
Oh man, he just sounded like a sociopath in this. It's like I
wouldn't say he's a sociopath, but I would say there is a degree. Yeah, I would say there's a degree of lack of self-awareness when he complains about being lonely when he has all that money. He can just invite random strangers to his house for a party.
And then you they made me sell Minecraft like that. And it's like, what the hell? You sold Minecraft on your own. You saw $1 billion dangled in your face, and you took it.
Right, and there's nothing wrong with that. And
no, there's things.
Yeah, so the thing I don't get is why he's complaining about being lonely. I mean, come on, dude, you got all that money. You shouldn't be complaining about that. But same time though, he is human, and there is some truth in the saying that money won't buy you happiness. So there is a bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he could easily just make his own company and just start over and make more money off of that.
Well, that's the question with Notch, though. The thing about Minecraft is that we don't know the exact origins of the original code that he built off of. It was a very good idea that he promoted, and he did a bulk of the work. Yeah, he did a bulk of the work, but the exact origins of Minecraft is not known, and that's something that would be fun to research and investigate, in my opinion, to find out the exact origins of it. See, the thing is, I think that Notch might realize that, and he might be in a state where that might be his one-hit wonder.
Yeah, but he also produced Scrolls too.
Scrolls was a failure, though.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I haven't even tried it. It was like, what the hell is this? I'm not going to play it.
Yeah.
Well, it was a card game, which I was thinking about trying, but I just didn't want to shell out for
There's enough card games out there. There's Magic the Gathering. Heck, Pokemon has a free-to-play card game.
It's not the only one. There's several indie.
I know there is, and there's Hearthstone as well. So
yeah, Hearthstone.
There's a Pokemon trading card game online, which they do give you free cards. You can buy out.
And of course, Yu-Gi-Oh! They just released it.
Okay. Yeah,
I actually played it. It was actually fun.
I'm just saying in general, Hearthstone was a failure because there's more proven card games out there.
All right, Magic. Do you want to say something?
About game, no, it's not really my subject. But you were talking about politician before and politics, so that was more on my cup of tea, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah, continue the conversation. I will jump in when I fit say to.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, JT, I'm gonna flip on my second screen. You'll see gameplay footage pretty soon.
That's fine.
I'm just warning you ahead of time.
That's
I'm just
fine.
getting, yeah.
It's no worries right there, man. It's like,
Yeah, I forewarn people when I give gameplay footage. Alright, there we go.
Why?
Is it
Because,
not safe for work?
no, it's safe for work. It's X3, but
Did
it's
you
a
just say it was
space
triple
difference.
X-rated?
No, it's X3.
But that's
Yeah,
triple X rated.
Yeah, okay.
Uh,
Alright, open broadcast software. Flip on my second TV. No monitor located. Better get the air on. Yeah, apparently update on that fire I had outside my town. We just had a really big rainstorm and just like knocked the whole thing out.
Hmm. Well, is there any other topics you want to talk about?
There's a lot of shit.
Well, there is one point I do want to clarify from an earlier conversation. When I use the term social justice warrior, it doesn't necessarily mean a social justice advocate. In fact, I would say they're two completely different things. And the reason why I say that is because a social justice advocate doesn't have the hallmarks of an SJW. It only meets one of the hallmarks.
I would like to make a paradox there, because the entire point of Gamergate is in sword social justice, because you want to push the moral of ethics into journalism. So in a weird way, you're kind of doing the same thing.
No.
No?
I just got done saying that a social justice advocate is not the same thing as a social justice warrior.
Yeah, I know, but you know what I'm trying to say? That Gamergate has this element of social justice in it.
Oh yeah, that is true. It does. It had it right from the start.
And it's about pushing a journalist station and journalist pundit to have more ethics in their saying. So it's a moral argument, like a social justice warrior would do with sexism, you know?
I would mostly agree with that, actually. Mostly. There are some people who actually get what ethics are supposed to do and the reason why we're pushing for ethics, but most people don't get. Most people do use the same type of argumentation. The main flaw is thinking that the main flaw is thinking that ethics are universal, but they're not universal. They're relative.
Or changing the mind of people that are already there, you know? That's another big problem that I see. Because you will not change Shank Huger or whoever the fuck is in gaming journalism,
Well, of course not, because
like Leanne Zender and stuff.
no,
Will
you're
not
never going to
change your
change their
minds.
mind. You're never going to change their minds, and you're never going to get them to be credible again. They've lost their credibility. They're useless. They're fundamentally untrustworthy.
Okay, game won't work. And
Yeah.
So in that sense, you are absolutely correct. Like,
Exactly.
SJWs, not the most important issue. Ethics, not the most important issue. What is the most important issue? Getting rid of the colonization of games.
Yeah, I'll say so. I'm not big into games, but I can see the argument because there's a lot of pushing for change for minutia and stuff like boob size on Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah, that is just useless. I mean, it's in no way useful to the consumer. All it does is just saying you're wrong for putting in boobs in games. It's fundamentally ridiculous. And these reviews are not for gamers; they're for non-gamers, and that's the problem.
Exactly. It's for people who's feeding on BuzzFeed, basically.
Yeah. And gators in general don't get that. Actually, I pretty much say most gators, period, don't get it.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things that happen at PAX by the way.
Can you go into detail?
Well, there was also the aggressive naval thing that happened. That was funny as hell.
Oh yeah, that was
Paxing,
oh
the
right.
policy thing. Remember?
Oh yeah, I do remember that. That was a while back. I thought you were talking about E3. I got those two confused in my brain for some reason.
PAX.
PAX is kind of a battleground at this point. They're pretty much split 50-50. It's not all one way. It's not all the other way. Like, there's a social justice influence in there for sure, but it's not predominant.
Yeah, I've been knowing about it for a while. They have been there for a long time in Seattle. It's they're not really bad people. It's just I can see why they're doing this. Because they're just they believe in this idea that it's actually the only way to like they think they're like the let's just say they're like the Christian. They're like Christians in a way.
Fundamentalist Christians, yes, they are. It's
they're
not for them. Like, that's another hallmark of an SJW. It's not that they have a moral code. It's that they have a moral code that they're trying to push on everybody else.
Yeah,
exactly. And they go against it a lot too. So
that's the critical hallmark of an SJW. Hypocrisy.
But pushing morals is kind of human things to do in general.
True.
Oh, my opinion on morals is there's like a basic type of moral in my opinion. It's like
here was the news about the Trine 3 development that I was trying to bring up.
Yeah.
And they actually left a video in there too, talking about the issues that they had. They actually openly admitted that they had the game was too short. It had various bugs. I have to admit that I have to praise the developers for trying to respond to the feedback that people had with that game issues.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel bad for the guys at Frozen Byte Games. They were having so many issues and so many problems. I can see why they were doing this.
All right, let me take a look at it. Like I said, I've been out of the loop for a lot of gaming news, unfortunately, which is honestly a failing of mine at this point, because there's just been there's been a lot of issues that I've been talking about and arguing with over people. And
I know. And a lot of people are kind of pissed off at you.
Oh, that's fine. They can be pissed off at me. But the thing is, though, that's telling on their part, because rather than just, have a debate or a dialogue, they'd rather just shut me out a lot of cases. And they're not very good at accepting criticism.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
I think it's just funny, though. But that's my personal opinion.
Oh, it's absolutely hilarious. I mean, people need to learn to have. Yeah, I mean, people need to learn to have fun with this. They can't just be like. They can't look at this as like, oh no, this is going to make us look bad, or oh no, this person's a bad actor. They should be looking at this like, hey, let's have some fun. Let's duke it out. Let's have a discussion about this or have a debate.
It's a giant shit show, basically, like Ashley Madison leak out.
Ashley Madison is very interesting, and it's something that
man.
I actually took some look into it. And unfortunately, I haven't actually done a lot of looking into it, but it is something that people should be looking into. I know Poll and V have, in particular, been looking into, hey, what information's been leaked and who's been on it. Though what concerns me more is why such a company like that would be allowed to exist in the first place.
Why not? If there's a market for it, the stupidity is the buyers.
Here's a question for you then. If I had the service and I charged you money to erase that information I had on you, would you not consider that blackmail?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if it doesn't say in their term of contract that they do so.
Yep, and that's
you're unaware of it.
That's a big issue. It's a situation where you have three major players, as Intern Aristocrat put it, and all three of those players are pieces of
bad.
shit.
Yeah.
You have the people being unfaithful to their spouses. You have the people offering the service to begin with, and then you have the hackers who release.
Can I
the
say
information.
something I've read on CNN? They tried painting it at this person, like woman that got exposed as being a victim. How Ashley Madison ruined my life, and I looked at the comments of it because this is one of those rare CNN articles that had comments. And it's like, no, the only person that ruined their life is yourself, not Ashley Madison. You're the one that went to cheat, not the website.
Ding, ding,
You should
ding.
have done it the old-fashioned way, not actively go to a website. I love how people are saying it.
Well,
They are correct to a point. They're correct to the point of Madison also played a hand in that, and the hackers played a hand in that. But the fact that she's not willing to own up to her own mistakes and she's trying to pin the blame on everyone else, that's a failing on her as well.
Yep.
Like, yeah, I'd be mad at Ashley Madison, the hackers as well. But the thing is, at that point, I'd have to recognize that I decided to cheat on my wife, and I tried to cover it up, and I was a complete retard doing it. So I'd have to own all that. But she's not willing to admit it.
I will make a wild prediction there because the owner of the site got leaked too. So we will have a web designer murder soon.
Uh-oh.
This is really like if you're tired of the Gamergate nonsense, just look into Ashley Madison. Do your own research and investigation on it.
Yeah.
It is going to be
Yeah,
fun.
there's a lot of like EA emails. There's a lot of emails that are just ridiculously linked to that site.
It's like you look at like the V thread, and the first name that comes up is like some guy like I'm not gonna say it on air, but you can recognize the names of these people right away off the bat. That's what makes it so funny. It's like this is like, did you guys seriously think that like what? No, did you think should be the question. Not did you think about X? Did you think? That's all. That's what I gotta say about Ashley Madison. Like, I might look more into it. I might not. Like, you know what? I'll probably do that. I'll probably work on that. Well, I'll work on some other things. Like I do want to follow up on the Total Biscuit article because, in addition to his shenanigans, his subreddit has also been pulling shenanigans as well. And to me, that's an issue. And I know, yeah, and it's funny is that people are coming to me saying, hey, this censorship thing isn't an issue. Okay, why'd you complain about censorship in the early days of Gamergate then? Like with 4chan and Reddit, those are privately owned companies, and there's their own platforms, and they can censor whatever they want. So by your logic, why would we complain about those things?
Oh, the rebuttal will probably be because 4chan was never like this before, and blah 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 blah.
Because they're retards, I know. Well, actually, no. I mean, that's overly dismissive.
So yeah, don't generalize like that.
Let me put it like this. The reason why that's a retarded response is because Reddit and 4chan both promise to be platforms as free speech, and besides that, when you have a major network like that, there should be ethical standards for social media to follow, in my opinion, that enable free speech. Because once you stifle that, once you disallow the wrong opinion to be said, you basically hamper upon the freedom of discourse of ideas and the exchange thereof. And it is a major issue. Like, if you don't want to have that, you can just go to your own little hug boxes or whatever. You can go to your own places. You can censor things on an individual level. But if you're doing it in that degree, it's ridiculous. And as for
the problem with this is that there is a market for hugbox. That's why they're doing this, you know. It's not because they want absolutely to censor the dissenting opinion. It's because people are asking for hugbox in the first place.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, most of that hugbox is diversity. Most of that hugbox is women in representation. The other one was, what was that other one?
Well, if you look at it from a purely economic standpoint, that's also a losing move because most people don't want censorship. Most people are against that and would rather the freedom and exchange of ideas could flow and continue. They don't want hug boxes by and large.
I don't know about this. I think there's a lot of divisive shit and people would get in their hug box. I see too many groups.
I'm gonna give you guys 10 minutes. I'm gonna probably end the stream.
All right. Well, actually, okay. Well, I'll leave at this thread then. Well, I would agree with Magic to a point. Like most people don't really want freedom of speech. Like there is a point for most people at which they will not want to hear a certain type of opinion because it challenges their worldview, or because they are just so offended by it. An extreme example of the latter of those two would be Natural Socialism. Most people wouldn't want to hear someone who openly identifies as such. They'd be like, "You're a Nazi. I don't want to talk with you," and that itself is a problem. But it's always a selective. It's always a certain selection of ideas that people are opposed to, as opposed to a more general, broad one. Like there are feminists that don't want to. There are Republicans that don't want to hear from Democrats. Democrats don't want to hear from Republicans. Atheists don't want to hear from religious who don't want to hear from anyone outside of their religion, etc., etc., so on and so forth.
Yeah, that was my point, though. The creating of Hawkbox like this is rampant now. So there is a serious market for it. That's why you got censorship.
Well, here's the objection I have, though. The type of censorship on, like, when it comes to Reddit and Twitter, and I'll get to r/CynicalBrit in a second. The type of censorship that is being promoted on Reddit and Twitter is a general censorship that only appeals to a small, minor selection of the user base. So you're having people who don't want censorship being censored. From an economic standpoint, that means they're going to look for alternatives that will say, hey, we don't have censorship. I'm like, great. That means my ideas can go forward. For example, on Twitter, certain words are soft-censored. Like, just go, like, if you're in a reply chain and someone uses the word cunt or fuck or something like that, and you reply to that, that tweet that said the offending four-letter word is not going to appear in the reply thread.
Yeah.
That is an issue. And on Reddit, it's the same deal. Certain wrongful opinions that are threaten user safety or whatever that they're declaring are being, like, certain... Like, the idea of Reddit is that you can create your own hug box with as many rules or as many freedoms as you like, right? But the thing is, they're destroying Reddit communities based on those principles for the sake of oh, this is the wrong type of community. We don't want this here. And that's going to have two effects. The first effect is that people are going to leave because now you destroyed their community, and they're going to be seeking out other communities, like, they'll be going to Voat, and they'll be going to 8chan, and all their alternatives. The second problem you have is that the people that stay are going to take all these wrong think that you don't like and spread it elsewhere. Congratulations, you just exacerbate a problem that wasn't there to begin with. And as for r/CynicalBrit, the reason why that particular subreddit's a problem is because Total Biscuit decided to close all the comments on his channel. This is fine. He is entitled to do this. He can choose not to have... I don't view that as a freedom of speech issue at that point. But the way he did it is where the problem lies, because he openly endorsed and corralled his audience to a section where they can be contained, and where this is they call it the unofficial board, but it's endorsed both by Total Biscuit and his manager, which is also his wife. And they used to run the board for a time, or help run it rather, and they get to choose all the rules. The problem there is Total Biscuit, a consumer advocate, is now allowing consumer voices to freely express themselves, and he's also using this as a means to control people, and he's been doing this a lot.
Yeah, but again, it's probably more profitable for him to do this, to create his own little hug box, to have people that are sucked into his views,
Well, that may be so, but Total Biscuit declares himself to be a consumer advocate, and when you don't allow people to have their own opinions on services and products, you are not acting in service of the consumer, and you're not advocating for the consumer. You're advocating for yourself.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. That's the issue here, and it's something worth looking into. And if you want to look more into it, there's a thread on GG Revolt on this.
It's always revolving around money, though. It's easy to follow.
True.
Yeah. A lot of things that talked about in GG Revolt. Some people were kind of pissed off with them.
They're pissed off. I'll tell you why they're pissed off. They're pissed off because they're pissed off for a couple of reasons. The first reason is because when the board first started, a bunch of people got the bright idea to go ahead and post a bunch of shill threads because, hey, it's a lot of freedom of speech.
I know, and yeah. I know who invented that board. It was basically a containment board for the shills and and
No,
the other dissenting
that
opinions.
is not true. That is
Not
it
true?
wasn't. It was an alternative. It wasn't.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But it helped. It worked because it actually had people discussing topics and actually helped people like debate the issue on GG Revolved.
Well, it kind of worked. Well, it kind of worked as a containment board, but it depends on what you mean by worked. Do you mean that it got the wrong think and the wrong attitudes out?
No, I'm not saying it does because it never did. It basically, it kind of curved the anger that
What
people
anger?
had. A lot of people had for e-celebs, for example.
Well,
Oh,
the thing is,
don't get started with these celebs.
well, the thing is, when it comes to e-celebs, the fact that we're able to categorize a type of person as an e-celeb and it's not supposed to be discussed is a problem in of itself.
I don't give a shit about e-celebs. That's my opinion.
Then why do you
Yeah.
complain so much about Brianna Wu, Sarah Butts, Ray Alexander, et cetera, so on and so forth? They're all e-celebs by any objective standard, unless you only mean Gamergate pundits.
I only criticize them because they're dumbasses.
There you go.
Because of what they've done. I mean,
So
it
then
just
tell me
depends-
this. Wait,
Yeah.
hold on. Hold that thought for a second. You criticize them because they're dumbasses, correct?
Fine. Yeah.
Okay. So why is it when Verillo wrote an article about Sargon, right? And someone put up a thread for discussion in Gamergate HQ. I don't know who it was. And it got a bunch of people replying. Some people were like, "Hey, this looks into," and some people were like, "Oh, wow, Sargon, wow, he's really unethical here." And other people were like, "Oh, well, this is stupid. How do you write this?" It doesn't matter what their opinion was. They're all entitled to their opinion. But what happened was one of the mods, I forget which one it was. I think it was Mod 09, as to my recollection, deleted the thread. Shit canned it. Didn't allow it for discussion. Even though it was criticizing one of the dumbasses that acted the same exact way as the other dumbasses that we criticize.
Yeah.
There's the problem.
It goes against the church, basically.
Yep.
It's simply this.
And
Okay, I have to say a few things about Verillo. He's a little unhinged, in my opinion, so you have to be very careful when talking about Verillo. It literally pisses off a lot of people. I'm just giving you a little heads up, John. It pisses off. Verillo's pissed off.
I don't
a lot of
disagree,
people.
and Verillo doesn't disagree with you either. He is a self-admitted asshole. He will act like a dick, but he's not going to lie about his opinions, and he's not going to lie about the information reports and he's not going to lie about the information reports.
I would side with Verillo. I would not really be that critical of Verillo if he wouldn't have tried doing, how do I put this, personally attacking people. I mean, going after them based on professional opinion is one thing, but doing it based on other stupid dumbass things, I'm not going to mention what they are, but you probably know the dumbass things Verillo said. That's what just irritates me.
Verillo's made some mistakes in his presentation. Don't get it wrong, but he has a right to his opinion, and he has a right to report facts, and I think he's doing a service in many of the articles he writes. You could say that the way he does it is, as a man in green would put it, shit stirring. But in its own way is what Gamergate's been about since the beginning. If you want the best definition of Gamergate, it's been the biggest and longest and most massive, wide-scale flame war in internet history.
I would agree to that.
Yeah, that is the best way to define it at this point.
It even took longer than fucking Atheism Plus.
I think Atheism Plus, not yet. I think it will outlast Atheism Plus, but Atheism Plus, I believe, lasted 1.5 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and there's also a new group that's popping up on the internet. They're called Autism Plus.
That is funny. That is hilarious. I want to find out more about these people, but maybe at a later date.
Yes,
But
that's A-Team's. That's A-Team's joke.
That is. I didn't know the A-Team was still around.
They are. They've made a few dick moves just recently, so.
Well, that's the thing about A-Team is that I think people get A-Team wrong. Like, they're just trolls.
Yeah,
know
they
they're
are,
trolls,
they are
but-
like the onions and stuff.
Yeah, the problem isn't trolls, it's how you react to them. If you react to trolls by getting all upset and angry and just saying they need to be banned and go away, they're just going to get more. They're going to use that against you and laugh at you. But if you laugh along with them or just ignore them, they'll go away and do something else. Yeah, it's like it's really that simple, and I don't think people get that. Like they don't really know how to. I think that people don't know how to take the bants, and that's the problem with trolls. They just don't know how to take the bants. Like, oh no, you offended me because you've been like. I had one of these people tell me that I was stream stalking them. Like, no,
You just have to know which button to push, you know.
Yep.
And people would get upset. So, if if they are bigger people that you think they are, they will not get offended and stuff. Yeah.
Precisely. So, like, that's why GG Revolt occurred. It wasn't just it wasn't the containment board. It was to provide an alternative. And the thing was, the well was poisoned early on, and the reason why some people don't like it because they were offended by a bunch of the threads that were made about them. And
especially Margaret. Especially Margaret was offended by those threads.
I think Margaret. I think that Margaret looked at one stupid thread and overreacted, in my assessment. But there was a lot of people just mudslinging left and right. Like they were just calling people jerks, which isn't a useful criticism at all, and that was dumb. But another thing they didn't like about GG Revolt, and the main reason, and after the shills went away, because you may have noticed the board has gone down the rankings. After all those shill threads started going away, and they started actually talking about issues and stuff like that, they still shilled the board because of wrongthink. Like you have the wrong opinion about someone or something, and this needs to go away. This isn't Gamergate. And they went out. People have been going out of their way to make sure that it stays focused on a certain set of issues in a certain light, and anything beyond that needs to get out. And that's why they don't like GG Revolt at this point.
Let me take a huge leap there and say that Gamergate was also about people saying that you think the wrong thing. In general.
To some extent, I would say like. It's not like if anyone's saying that anyone is agenda free or free of ideology, they're lying to you. They are flat out lying, because everyone has an agenda and everyone has an ideology. It's not something you can avoid. The thing you want to avoid though is letting your agenda or ideology supersede facts. Like if you assess a situation and facts presented which counter your previous assessment of the situation, and you refuse to change your mind because of my ideology or my agenda, then you're in the wrong. You cannot do that. That's it's dishonest.
Yeah, I agree to that. That's when they go overboard too. You know, that's when Gamergate has a point, because they cover it in such a dramatic way, if you will.
And they also are, and a lot of them are ideologues, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. Oh, go ahead. Continue.
No, you can finish the stream.
I'm going to go ahead. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and finish and end this stream. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Leon. Thank you, Magic Bubble. And thank you, John, for showing up. I know that some people were kind of personally upset with you, John, but you know it's nice that you had a decent chat with us about.
I'm willing to talk with anyone. Anyone wants to talk to me, I'll come on board with them, and so long as they are like, if they want to discuss things in good faith, that's fine. If they want to discuss things in bad faith, that's also fine. I'm not going to be someone who doesn't live up to their own principles that I set forth. Like
that's fair. That's fair enough. And I'm sorry, John. Yeah, it's like everyone's like, I'm gonna kill you. They were gonna try to kill. People were pissed off at me, and it's like, I don't really have an issue with you, John. And it's like everyone's upset.
All I have to say about that, and just taken from me, is just cut it with the child acting.
Yeah, why was it on Twitter though that people were saying that, GT?
No, it's just people disagreeing, and I understand that people have the right to disagree with things, but don't take it personally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also don't play guilt by association. Like if someone doesn't like me and they don't want to talk to me, that's their choice. But why would you take it out on people that do like me? Like why would you go for the same social justice mentality that we've been fighting against?
And I understand.
Yeah.
And it's fair enough.
It's just I know I'm right, and if anybody disagrees with me, they're wrong.
Yeah.
That isn't true. I
Anyways,
always acknowledge
guys,
that
Just
because
that
you're wrong.
attitude. I've seen that so much.
It
Anyways,
happens.
guys, we gotta go. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.